It all started on a sunny Saturday morning when Dave decided it was finally time to mow the lawn. His wife, Linda, had been reminding him for weeks, and the grass was beginning to resemble a jungle. Determined to prove he was the king of yard maintenance, Dave pulled out his trusty, albeit ancient, lawnmower. The machine, lovingly named Old Betsy, had seen better days. It rattled, wheezed, and emitted more smoke than a 1970s disco. But Dave was confident. "No need to buy a new one," he told Linda. "Betsy and I have been through thick and thin." After several failed attempts to start the mower, Dave finally gave the pull cord one last heroic yank. Old Betsy roared to life and promptly spat out a chunk of grass that landed squarely on Dave's face. Linda, watching from the window, doubled over in laughter. Dave wiped his face, muttered something about character-building experiences, and got to work. The first few minutes went smoothly. Dave mowed in neat, satisfying rows, feeling like a suburban conqueror. But then he hit a rock. Not just any rock, a rock the size of a grapefruit. Betsy let out a metallic screech and abruptly stopped. "Uh-oh," Dave muttered. He bent down to inspect the damage, only to discover that the blade was slightly bent. No big deal, he thought. He grabbed a wrench, gave the blade a few questionable adjustments, and declared it fixed. Feeling triumphant, Dave restarted Betsy and resumed mowing. That's when things started to get weird. Betsy, perhaps traumatized by the rock incident, developed a mind of her own. She began veering left, hard left. Dave wrestled with the handle, trying to keep her on track, but it was like trying to steer a runaway shopping cart. As if that wasn't enough, Betsy's throttle stuck at full power. Suddenly, the lawnmower became a rogue machine, tearing through flower beds, scattering garden gnomes, and leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Linda, who had stepped outside to bring Dave a glass of lemonade, screamed, "Dave, stop it!" "I'm trying," Dave yelled, chasing after the mower like a man possessed. In his panic, Dave tripped over the garden hose, did a spectacular somersault, and landed face first in a muddy flower bed. Betsy, now free from her human tether, made a beeline for the neighbor's yard. Mr. Jenkins, their elderly neighbor, was pruning his roses when he heard the commotion. He turned just in time to see old Betsy barreling toward him. With surprising agility, Jenkins dove out of the way, landing in his koi pond. The mower missed him by inches and crashed into his prized rose bush, grinding it into mulch. By the time Dave caught up, Betsy had run out of gas and sat lifeless in the middle of Jenkins's yard, looking as innocent as a machine could. Dave, covered in mud and grass clippings, approached Jenkins, who was wringing out his soaked cardigan. He looked at me, then at the cucumber, and then back at me. Without a word, he abandoned the cart and walked away, leaving me to reassemble my disheveled groceries. By the time I made it to the checkout, I was sweaty, mildly humiliated, and down one bag of apples, which had mysteriously disappeared during the chaos. The cashier, who had apparently witnessed the entire saga, smiled and said, "Rough day?" "You have no idea," I replied, handing over my loyalty card. As I loaded my bags into the car, I couldn't help but laugh. What had started as a